morning. Time for prayer and book club. All right, I'll say the prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for this new day. We're so thankful that Thou helped us to get up this morning and that we were able to connect with Thee and that we can be able to work our business intentionally every single day. And that as we do that and as we be intentional with our families and intentional in all of our tasks that we can feel purpose and fulfillment. We're so thankful for this time to reflect, to grow, to read, and to learn from those smarter than us. And we pray that we can be humble and teachable and pliable, and that we will be able to continually learn and grow. Love you so much. I'm so thankful for the blessings that Thou hast given us. Pray that Thou will continue to bless our team members with health and success and with joy in their business. And that we can work through the hard thoughts that we have. We love you so much. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. We are on page 105. And I'm going to start the timer. Okay. We're at the top, basically, on number 3. So to recap, we started the law of design. And yesterday we talked about life is very simple, but keeping it that way is difficult. And designing your life is more important than designing your career. So this time, we're on number 3, life is not a dress rehearsal. As you may have guessed by now, I'm a longtime reader of Charles Schulz's comic strip Peanuts. Schulz captured the feelings of many people in a strip in which Charlie Brown says to Linus, "Life is just too much for me. I've been confused from the day I was born. I think the whole trouble is that we're thrown into life too fast. We're not really prepared." Linus responds, "What did you want? A chance to warm up first?" There is no warm-up for life, no dress rehearsal, yet that's the way many people seem to be treating it. Each of us goes on stage cold, with no preparation, and we have to figure it out as we go along. That can be messy. We fail, we make mistakes, but we still need to give it our best from the very start. Regret over not being proactive enough is a common theme among people looking back on their lives. In his book Aspire, Kevin Hall tells about a trip he made with a group of Boy Scouts and his desire to inspire them to set bold goals for themselves. He did that by telling them about a study of retired successful executives conducted by Gerald Bell, a noted behavioral scientist. Hall writes, "I told them what those 70-year-old executives answered when Dr. Bell asked them what they would do differently if they could live their lives over again. Their response, an answer that ranked far ahead of any others, was this: I should have taken charge of my life and set my goals earlier. Life isn't practice, it's the real thing." I shared the rest of the survey answers with the scouts. Number 2, I should have taken better care of my health. Number 3, I would have managed my money better. And number 4, I would have spent more time with my family. 5, I would have spent more time on personal development. 6, I would have had more fun. 7, I would have planned my career better. And 8, I would have given more back. We don't get a rehearsal for life. We have to do the best we can in the moment. But we can learn from others who have gone before us, people like the executives that Bell studied. They should inspire us to plan as best we can, and then give our all. Comedian Fred Allen once said, "You only live once, but if you work it right, once is enough." That's good. This makes me think of I used to have this thought all the time of, "Oh, I'll do that when I've done this." Like things were holding me back. Like, "Oh, I'll do more incentives when I'm in Emerald." Like, I'll do, all of those things. But no, we need to do them now to get there. And yeah, it's very interesting. Our brain wants to procrastinate, right? Gotta just do it now. Just gotta do it. Okay. Number 4, in planning your life, multiply everything by 2. My outlook on life is primarily optimistic, and as a result, my expectations for myself and others tend to be rather unrealistic. Over the course of time, I've learned that the important things in life usually take longer than we expect and cost more than we anticipate. That is especially true when it comes to personal growth. So, what do I do to compensate? I multiply by 2. If I think something will take me an hour to do, I plan for double to stay out of trouble. Ooh, that's good. I always overplay. If I think a project will take a week to accomplish, I allot 2. If I think a goal will require $1,000 to fund, I set aside 2,000. 2 isn't a magic number, it just seems to work for me. I found that multiplying everything by 2 infuses realism into my optimism. Ooh, that's good. That's a good quote there. I'm aware that I'm an especially patient person. Hold on. I'm gonna highlight that one. Ooh, that's good. Because I sometimes can be a little over optimistic with my time. Be like, oh, I can get that done. I can totally get that done. Okay. I'm just going to read it one more time. I've found that multiplying everything by 2 infuses realism into my optimism. I'm aware that I'm an especially impatient person, but I think all people naturally desire for things to come to them quickly and easily, including personal growth. The secret isn't really to want more or want it faster, it's to put more time and attention into what you have and what you can do now. Give 3 times the effort and energy to growing yourself, and allow yourself to grow slowly and with deep roots. Remember that a squash vine or tomato plant grows in a matter of weeks, produces for several days or weeks, and then dies when the first frost comes. In comparison, a tree grows slowly over years, decades, or even centuries. It produces fruit for decades, and if healthy, it stands up to frost, storms, and drought. Well, doesn't that relate to our business a lot? We want to be trees, not tomatoes. Okay. I'm allergic to tomatoes, so it's fine. I'll be a tree. As you develop strategies for growth, give yourself the time and resources you need. Whatever amounts seem reasonable to you, multiply them by 2. That practice will help to keep you from becoming discouraged and giving up too soon. All right, to develop strategies depend on systems. Yes. Most accomplishments in life come more easily if you approach them strategically. Rarely does a haphazard approach to anything succeed, and even the few times a non strategic approach to achievement comes to fruition, it's not repeatable. So, how do you accomplish something strategically on a consistent basis? By creating and using systems. One of the greatest secrets to my personal growth and high productivity is that I use systems for everything. I have a system for growing personally and gleaning information. I try to read 4 books every month. I pick 2 that I can go through fairly quickly and 2 that I want to really dig into. I also listen to CDs in my car. When I was preaching a weekly sermon as a pastor, I used to listen to 5 every week. I'd give a CD 5 minutes. If it was bad, I'd stop listening. If it was good, I'd listen to the whole thing. If it was great, I'd stop listening after 5 minutes and set the CD aside to have it transcribed so I could read every word. Ooh, that's good. I have a system for capturing and filing all the good stories, quotes, and articles that I read. If I find an article I like, I rip it out of the magazine or journal, write at the top the topic it should be filed under, and set it aside for my assistant to put into my files. As I read a book, when I find a quote or story I like, I mark the page, write the topic I want it filed under, and write the page number where it can be found on the inside front cover of the book. When I'm done reading the book, I give it to my assistant and she photocopies the quotes or types them up and puts them in my quotes file. And since we don't have assistants, we can take pictures of the quotes and put it in a file in our notes on our phone, right? Yes, we can. All right, this practice has changed my life. Most people I know who take the time to grow personally don't take the time to capture the best thoughts and ideas they come across. They spend hours or days looking for a story they once read or a quote they can't quite recall. Didn't I read something about that recently? They wonder. Now, which book was that in? Maybe they are able to find it, maybe not. Do you know how much time it takes me to find something I read and want to recall? 2 minutes or less. Usually, I can walk over to my desk and put my hand on it in under a minute. If I can't recall what topic I filed it under and have to check 2 or 3 topics, it might take me as long as 5 minutes. I have a system for thinking. I keep about a dozen quotes or ideas in the Notes app on my iPhone, which I have with me all the time. I refer to them throughout the day so they can really sink into my mind and heart. When I swim laps every day, I choose 1 or 2 thoughts, or sometimes a couple of prayer items, to roll over in my mind while I swim, and I also have my thinking chair. If I wake up in the middle of the night, which is a fairly common occurrence, I slip down into my office with a legal pad to think and write. I have a system for writing. Before I take a major trip, which can last up to 2 or 3 weeks, I spend a day or longer preparing what I need to write. If I'm working on a book, I create a notebook with raw material. If the outline for the book has 15 chapters, as this one does, I put together a binder with 15 numbered tabs. If I already have some thoughts about a particular chapter, I 3-hole punch it and put it behind the tab. I also go into my quote and article files and photocopy any material that I think I might want to use for that chapter. I 3-hole punch those pages and put them behind that tab. If I've written a lesson on that subject, I copy it, 3-hole punch it, and put it behind the tab. By the time I'm done, I've got an entire binder of material handpicked for every chapter. With that, a legal pad, tape, and a pen, I'm ready to write whether I'm on a plane, in a hotel room, or staying at a relative's house. I don't think I've told you guys this, but one of my new goals is to write a book about abundance. So, I haven't started yet. This is good advice. All right, there's our timer. So good. So we stopped on 109 after the first paragraph. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.